Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have a video for you of my top 10 work fragrances. Not going to say necessarily for this year because I may come out with one maybe a year down the line, but this is my top 10 work fragrances list. Now, this list is the top 10 fragrances that works for me. There are many options that you can actually use for work fragrances, but I've designed and tailored my work fragrances to kind of suit my need and purposes. One thing that's extremely important is the environment that you actually work in. My environment that I actually work in is a corporate environment. I work in Midtown of Manhattan. I have a lot of people around me that are in a cubicle type situation. I go to a lot of meetings where I meet a lot of people. I meet clients at times, certain people that may have decisions that are influenced off of the meeting with me. I represent my company in different ways and fashions, so that's kind of the environment that I'm actually in. Generally speaking, I go to work, I'll wear usually a dress shirt, slacks, maybe khakis with it too. Sometimes I'll go in a full suit. Sometimes I'll go in, like if it's Friday or if it's just a casual day, I'll go in a good pair of jeans and maybe even just a simple either white or black t-shirt. That goes along with it, and maybe some simple sneakers. But either way, that's kind of the scenario that I'm in. Because of that scenario, I don't want a fragrance that is going to kind of knock people out or is going to be overly aggressive. Good case in point is Musc Ravageur. Musc Ravageur is probably still my favorite fragrance of all time at this point, but it's a very aggressive, a very in-your-face fragrance that I don't feel is appropriate for work, so I don't wear it to work. So this list of fragrances is pretty much the fragrances that I wear going through. Now, one other thing to actually mention, and that's these fragrances you can pretty much wear year-round. Now, it's not saying that you'll have success, especially outside with them, but in that closed work environment, the environment that I'm in is the environment that they do extremely well in. So just keep that in mind going forward for these fragrances. Now, when I'm looking for a fragrance, just one last thing before I dive into the actual list, when I'm looking for a fragrance, I generally tend to look for things with maybe vetiver, neroli, that's light, inoffensive, not too heavy-ish, stuff like that. I don't have big base fragrances in. Big base fragrances I think are excellent for work. The problem is I'm actually allergic to these big base fragrances. I actually get very nauseous if it's on me for a while. So stuff like Marc Jacobs, Lancome's, Hypnos, I can't actually wear those. So with that, let's get right on into the list. Coming in for, I have a couple of honorable mentions first. My first honorable mention is actually a fragrance that I've had for a while now, and that is Prada Amber Pour Homme. Prada Amber Pour Homme, here's the bottle. This fragrance is just an excellent fragrance that has a soapy, soft type vibe to it. It comes off to me, and I first described it as elegant soap. You can't go wrong with elegant soap. Not many people are going to be offended by it. It has almost a baby powderish type feel to it as well. Now, the one thing that some people may want to keep in mind is that it can come off a little bit feminine. Some people have said it comes off a little bit feminine. If you're not into that type of thing, then you may want to kind of tone down on this fragrance or just avoid it altogether. But either way, it makes a good fragrance. So that's Prada Amber Pour Homme for honorable mention. Another honorable mention, which is about 3 fragrances, but starting with one, is none other than Creed's Millesime Imperial. Creed's Millesime Imperial is really a fantastic fragrance that is very low-key. Has a little bit of a salty sea melon type vibe to it. Very crisp, very unassuming at the same time. Not going to really offend anyone at all. One of the downsides to this, though, is its price tag. Its price tag is well over $300 for this size of a fragrance, so it is a little bit more on the expensive side. Generally, I tend to wear Creed's Millesime Imperial when I'm going for like a casual day in the office. So whether it be a good pair of jeans and that black t-shirt, or maybe even a polo shirt or something like that with my jeans, I'll just go in there with that, and it pairs excellent with it, and it does excellent. Sure, this is my casual scent one of my casual scent go-tos, but again, for work, it can be used for those purposes. Now, if this is a little bit too much of an expensive option for you, you have some other options. These fragrances are very similar to Millesime Imperial. They're not the same, obviously, but they can get the job done. One is Sean John's Unforgivable. I haven't gone over this one, but it does smell sort of similar to Creed's Millesime Imperial, and is a lot cheaper. I think you can purchase this around $30 right now. So definitely something that you can get for much cheaper. And Ed Hardy's Love and Luck. This fragrance also you can get for much cheaper. This is the 1.7, I believe. I forgot what size this is. Oh well. But these two smell similar to Creed's Millesime Imperial. Again, not the same, not as fresh, but for a cheaper option, definitely take a look at these two. Okay, another honorable mention I have is Versace Polo. This fragrance is a very sharp citrus fragrance that kind of has a little bit of a musky undertone that goes along with it. Generally speaking, I usually wear this one with shirt and khakis basically, or shirt and slacks. That's generally when I wear this. I don't really wear this with a suit. Sometimes I may be caught wearing it in my casual go to work getup, but this is usually when I wear this one. The next one is, for honorable mention obviously, is Guerlain Vetiver. Guerlain Vetiver is a very soft vetiver citrus type smell. It does excellent for work. It lasts a good amount of time. What I found this actually works with is both the casual wear, the slacks, the dressed up wear, and it actually works pretty well with a suit as well. This is one of the few fragrances that I actually will wear to interviews. I'll be very light on the trigger, maybe 1-2 sprays, but really does get the job done, and it is something that does well in those type of scenarios. So yes, Guerlain Vetiver. And the last honorable mention is, sorry, kind of cheating on this, is Encre Noire. This is a dirty vetiver type scent that really has a dirty vibe to it. The one thing that you can really do with this scent though is really control how much you spray, and it can come off as a pretty sophisticated scent when you actually wear it, and it does do well for those scenarios. Also does well in the winter, especially for this type of a fragrance. So keep that in mind, especially if you maybe out a little bit more, or you need something a little bit heavier, or you want something a little bit dirtier rather than the opposite of the previous one, Guerlain Vetiver. So Encre Noire. I may be pronouncing that wrong too. Now, onto the list. Coming in at number 10, we have Burberry Touch. This fragrance has been in my arsenal for, wow, since almost I started collecting fragrances. This fragrance does extremely well in work scenarios. Now, what it does, it has a little bit of citrus, a little bit of musk, a little bit of vetiver on it, and it calms down to a very soft, approachable scent. It's not going to offend anyone. I've never gotten any comments that it smelled bad, or even when I've had people smell it, not that it smells bad or anything like that. The worst kind of comment you're going to get is that it's not really assuming or anything like that. But it is a great fragrance to wear to work, and it was my staple that I pretty much wore with slacks and dress shirt when I first started working in corporate environments. So Burberry Touch, excellent scent, not too expensive at all. You can probably purchase this for around $40, $50, so definitely something to take a look at. Coming in at number 9, we have a fragrance that I think has been forgotten a little bit, and that is Polo Double Black. Sorry, my bottle's a little bit scratched up, but Polo Double Black has a little bit of a mandarin note to it. It has pepper, coffee, woods. The coffee isn't too strong. It's not really a gourmand, even though it or a food kind of quality fragrance, even though it has mango, coffee and some of those notes onto it. It just comes across as a very sophisticated scent that you can pretty much wear. Now, it's not the loudest scent, which is why I like it perfectly for work, because it is a little bit subdued, and it comes down to a scent that you really can pretty much wear all day, and it won't be too loud. Some people might not even smell you, but that's kind of the way that I like it at work for this fragrance. So Polo Double Black. Coming in at number 8, we have Lacoste Essential. Bottle's backwards. Lacoste Essential really is just a fantastic fragrance that you can wear for work, obviously. What sets this fragrance apart from the others, it has this melon, this very soft melon type note that kind of sits onto it with a little bit of a tomato, I believe it's tomato leaf, or tomato, is it? yeah, it's tomato leaf and a little bit of a citrus type vibe to it that really produces a pretty unique fragrance that a lot of people like wearing for those situations, kind of when you're first meeting a client. You're very clean, very soft, very unassuming, but at the same time, you kind of have that little spritz of citrus in it. The tomato leaf and the melon kind of bring it out as well. So very good scent. I would highly recommend this, actually wearing it for with the dress shirt and slacks, or even the casual scent. I generally don't tend to wear this one with suits though, so but overall, most everyday situations, you can go ahead and wear this one in. One final note for this one is it's not the strongest, so in the winter may have a little bit of an issue, but again, if you spray it, put on your coat and you get into work, you'll be fine. Now, coming in at number 7, we have a very popular fragrance, and that is one of my favorites, Creed's Aventus. Aventus is a pineapple, woodsy, apple type scent with a little bit of smokiness that kind of comes into it. Aventus is like catnip for men, basically. Most men, I haven't found really any one person at this point who genuinely hates this fragrance. Most men find that it smells, generally pretty decent. Women, on the other hand, they think it generally tends to smell okay. It's not as hyped up with women as it is with men. But for work, this is truly an excellent scent. The one caveat that you want to keep in mind with Creed's Aventus, though, is it's very, very powerful. It's something that you will not assume is powerful based on you spraying it and just kind of wearing it on yourself, but people will still smell you from quite a distance away, and it's a lot more powerful than it lets on. So Creed's Aventus, definitely a powerful fragrance, something that you can wear easily in the winter, but really year-round, something that you can wear for work. Be careful on the trigger with this one, though, but it does double as an excellent fragrance. Now, you can wear it generally with suits, you can generally wear it with casual, or you can wear it with, slacks, anything like that. Very versatile in that manner. So, Creed's Aventus, coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have a Tom Ford fragrance, and that is Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver. You can kind of see this little vetiver theme that I have going on. Generally, I love vetiver for fragrances for work, and this is no exception to the list. So Creed's Gray Vetiver has almost a little bit more of an offensive type vetiver citrus type scent. The reason why I say it's a little bit more offensive is because it's a little bit more aggressive. It gets itself out there a little bit more. Projects pretty well, has almost a grapefruit citrus vetiver type vibe to it. Depending on your nose, you may get a little bit more vetiver, you may get a little bit more grapefruit out of this fragrance, but they both mix to combine something that works excellent for work and does well for those situations. So this fragrance I generally tend to wear with usually either a suit or slacks. I really don't go cash workwear with this one. So Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver. Coming in at number 5, we have L'humaniste, or Humaniste, by Frapin. Gin and tonic, very, I would say, almost not really sharp, but very pronounced for a citrus scent. The one thing you want to keep in mind with this fragrance, though, is it can be a little bit underwhelming, and at times it may lose its bite depending on your skin for it. Sorry, this is a little bit wet again. This came out of my cooler as well, but it can be a little bit underwhelming in those terms. So I usually carry a little bit of a decant around with me at all times. This is something that I wear for casual and with shirt and slacks as well. Don't really wear this one with a suit, but this is something that is universally pleasing. People love this smell. Women love this smell. In fact, women usually try and tell me or ask me where I got this fragrance so they can pick it up themselves. It's definitely a unisex scent. Both sexes can wear it. But yes, Humaniste by Frapin. Coming in at number 4, we have Bleu De Chanel. Yes, Bleu De Chanel. Sorry, also wet. But Bleu De Chanel is a scent that has gotten knocked on because it's so generic, because it's not really pronounced. Yes, it feels kind of like your generic cologne type smelling fragrance, but at the same time, I think it's beautifully done for that fact. This is your atypical work fragrance, and possibly if somebody was to ask me right off the bat, kind of what fragrance is the most versatile work fragrance or the most typical work fragrance they can get away with, and I would probably recommend to them Bleu De Chanel. Now, it's not going to scream off originality, nothing like that, but it's your everyday workhorse for work, Bleu De Chanel. Generally, I tend to wear this one with casual or, shirt and slacks, basically. So, Bleu De Chanel, take a look at it. Coming in at number 3, we have L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, it's a ginger, almost citrus type smell that's kind of mixed in, or it's mixed very well with vetiver, and it's got a little bit of tonka bean in it as well. And it really is a fragrance that kind of remains the same throughout the entire duration. Now, it's also pretty soft on it as well. So it's not very pronounced, it doesn't scream out at people, but it does have a very unique tinge to it. There are some fragrances that do smell like it, but they don't give off the same sense of casual, elegance that L'Homme does give off. So Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme, go ahead, take a look at it. Excellent fragrance all year round. Now, this fragrance I do wear with suits at times, so I'll generally wear the 3 gamut with it: casual, shirt and slacks, and suits. Yves Saint Laurent's L'Homme. Coming in at number 2, we have a recent purchase that I just purchased, and it is none other than Amouage's Epic Man. Now, I've been tinkering around with samples for this one for over a year, and I finally decided to pucker down and buy this bottle. A very expensive fragrance that cost me well over $200, purchased from in New York, but it's excellent for exactly what it does. Now, some people may say that this smells more like an older man, and that is true because, well, I'm over 30, works perfectly for me, may not work so well for the younger folks below 30. So Amouage Epic Man, it has a spicy kind of tinge to it. It has a little bit of oud. It's a spicy, clean oud, basically, is the type of scent that I really get from this scent. An excellent scent. Not many people have said, actually nobody has said that they hated it. Some people have said that it smells too much like an old man or a little bit too spicy, but it's perfect for work purposes, especially if you spray sparingly. Another aspect of this fragrance that does extremely well is its longevity. It lasts a good amount of time. The entire workday you can spray it on, and it will last you pretty much all throughout. So Amouage's Epic Man. Generally speaking, with the Amouage line, there are a lot of fragrances that you can go ahead and purchase and use for work that I think they generally do well with work fragrances. It's just a matter of picking what works for you. Now, coming in at number 1 for my favorite work fragrance that I absolutely love is Strellson No. 1. This fragrance is made by a designer house. It has this weird note in it called Samtak Wakapu or something like that. I'm pronouncing that wrong, definitely. But it's kind of like its original note that it is like woody and musky at the same time. But it has a citrus type scent to it. It has a very clean vetiver type scent to it. It's not pronounced. It jumps out at you. It has neroli in it as well, which is what's giving it its citrus. So it's an excellent scent. This is actually one of the very few scents, along with Guerlain Vetiver that I mentioned earlier, that I will wear to an interview as well. I wore this to my most recent interview that got me my most recent job. Really is an excellent scent. Very pronounced, very professional. Something that is just fantastic for work purposes. So when all else fails, my absolute number 1 go-to guy is Strellson No. 1. If you have any questions whatsoever on this list, if you need help picking out work fragrances, feel free, let me know, send me a comment, do whatever you gotta do, leave me a comment below. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have an excellent day.